Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you enjoyed the Thanksgiving long weekend. I recently asked you what you guys thought were the pros and cons when it comes to leasing a vehicle. And a few of you got back to my social media, some by text message, and even some by email. And I really appreciate it because it lets me know what to produce when it comes to making videos for you guys to help you out when it comes to buying a car. And if you don't know or need help, you can always ask me when it comes to buying or selling a car. I will definitely love to help you out. Um, but I made a list. I made a pro and cons list that I think would help you guys out when it comes to buying a vehicle or leasing a vehicle. So number one, the leasing pros, you have a lower monthly payment. So your monthly payment is going to be lower. Like if you're looking to financing for 36 months or leasing for 36 months, your monthly payment is definitely going to be lower than financing a car, right? You can drive a better car for less money. So you can get a higher trim level vehicle for less money because you're leasing. So you can get into a better car than what you would if you were financing a car, especially if you have a certain budget. Uh, you have a lower repair cost because you're under the vehicle's factory warranty. So if you're under the factory warranty and if anything happens to your car, you can bring it to the dealership and they'll repair it free of charge, right? Because you're under factory warranty, especially if you're under 36 months. It's a little tricky if you go to 48 months or 60 months on the lease because the powertrain is usually 100K and the comprehensive is usually 60. So if you're over the comprehensive and 60 kilometers, you will still have to pay for that. So, but I'll let you know more about that later. You can more easily transition to a new car every 2 or 3 years. So if you don't like having the same car often and you want to get a new one every 2 or 3 years, leasing is perfect for you as long as you don't drive over the kilometers. You don't have to trade. You don't have trade-in hassles at the end of the lease. So when you bring the car in, you won't have the hassle because the dealership knows it's their car. Everything should be good. But there could be issues along the way, and I'll get to that later on. You pay less sales tax. So when you're leasing a vehicle, you're paying maybe 50% of the value of the car for 48 months. So only paying sales tax on 50% of the car. Where when you're financing it, you're paying the sales tax on 100% of the vehicle because you're paying for the whole car. Um, some of the cons I put together is you don't own the car at the end of the lease, although there is options to buy it out. So at the end of 36 months, you don't own it. You're supposed to bring it back to the dealership, and that's why sales guys want you to lease a car because they know usually you won't get back into it. You'll buy or lease another car, right? So they basically got two cars off you at least, or maybe three, depending if you traded one in at the beginning when you lease the car. And yeah, so when you bring it in, they know it's their car, and they'll definitely know that it's been in, like there's been service there, so they know there's a good value in that vehicle. Unless there's a lot of dents on the vehicle or scratches and repairs, you would still have to repair that if you bring back a car that has, significant damage on it. Well, hopefully you don't. Um, your mileage is typically limited to 16,000 kilometers, but you can go to 20,000 kilometers or 24,000 kilometers depending on what you want. But you do pay more for that. But it's not that much more. It's maybe like $10 a month if you move to 20, and maybe another like 15, and then there's $5 on top of that if you move up to 20,000. So it just depends on your driving needs. You may find a lease contract confusing and filled with unfamiliar terminology. Most people do, and that's okay because you're not in the car business, so you're not going to understand. But the best thing to do is ask questions, and if you really need help, I can answer them for you too. You'll pay more in the long run for a lease car than you will if you buy a car and keep it for years. Yes, so obviously, if you lease a car every 4 years, you're going to pay way more than if you finance a vehicle. But you're having a new car all the time, so it depends on you and how much money you have or how much money you're willing to spend on a car. If you don't want to spend that much on a car, then it's better to finance a vehicle or lease it for 0% if you can, and then buy it out with cash because then you don't lose any money. If you refinance that car, like a buyout, you finance that, you're going to pay like 7% interest or whatever it is, and you're just losing more money. You could face excessive wear and tear charges. These can be nasty surprises at the end of the lease. So yes, if you bring a car back that has dents all over the place, is scratched everywhere, you hit a pole 3 or 4 times, and you never repaired it, they're going to charge you for that. So make sure you take care of the lease because when you bring it back, you want to make sure it's in good condition so you don't have to pay for those repairs, right? And I actually have a friend who had transmission issues on the car, and she went over the kilometers, about like 40,000 kilometers, and she had to pay like $5,000 at the end of her lease. And that's horrible. And I try to help her out with that. It's just there's nothing I can do about that because you went over the kilometers and your car had transmission damage, even though that was Ford's. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said the brand. That was that was the company's fault, the brand's fault. But you know, it's hard to help that out, right? You will find it costly to terminate a lease early if your driving needs change. So yes, if you want to terminate a lease because you don't like the car anymore or you can't afford it, you're gonna pay penalties and fees on top of that. So that could be like $1,500. That'll be thousands of dollars. Let's put it that way. And that's not good for you. That's not good for anyone. So make sure if you do lease a car, you are going to keep it for the term of the policy. You do not want to have the car for a year and a half and be like, oh no, I can't afford it, and now I got to bring the car back, because now you're going to pay so many fees, and you have to pay the contract out too. So if you're still $15,000 left, now you're going to pay a fee on top of that. So now obviously now it could be like $17,000. Don't do that. Don't lease a car unless you know you have the money in the bank, or you know you're going to use it for the whole 3 years, whatever it is, whatever how long the term is. That's basically it for now. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, please comment below, and I'd love to hear from you guys. All right. Thank you. Bye.